Hey everybody, welcome on back to the AnKorage where everything is awesome. And this is a Boeing 727 desk model. And when I was little, I used to do this. This is AeroQuest. So, welcome on back. And this is AeroQuest, and you'll notice that I don't have the explosion after I said this is AeroQuest. Jetliners, and particularly American Airlines jetliners and explosions, to use that explosion graphic, that would have been in bad taste. And here's why. Aviation has been predominant in my life, throughout my life, since I was little, all the way up until I happened to, graduate high school, of course, and I started training. And what was I training in? Well, I was training to become a pilot, and that is thanks to the influence of my father, to a degree. It was just only natural that I would like flying because he liked flying, so that's what I did. And so I earned this. This is my original license with the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration. So there we go. And it's funny because after my father retired from flying, and guess who that was for? American Airlines. So that's why I have this. This used to be his. I have a larger desk model. It's of an Airbus 300-600R. That's the specific model. But the desk model is ginormous, and I can't do this with it. At least not very well. So, but after he passed away, I essentially I became custodian of this and of the other model, the 300. Whereas a relative is a custodian of two others, and two different types of aircraft. So, did that. But I went and I started to do training with the goal of becoming an airline pilot myself. And this was the first step. Private pilot for single engine land. And that was, I'm going to say a long time ago right now, because my schooling, it ended because of life. And so I progressed further and in my training, but to a point. However, and then I had life changes after life changes after life changes, and then this place here, I purchased it, and I decided that I should get in touch with the FAA, at least, and update my address information. So I've got a replacement right here. So here's my original, here's my replacement. So I keep my replacement on me at all times. I am, the good thing about the licenses, now the licenses themselves don't expire. I'm rated, I've got the qualifications, and that's it. Beyond that, you need to have an up-to-date medical rating, which I did not keep up, and for good reason, because as I found out years later, reasons came up that prevented me from getting an up-to-date medical, and I knew what those were, so I basically took it upon myself to ground myself. I wasn't going to have a doctor or flight examiner tell me I can't fly because of those reasons. So I grounded myself. So I took myself out of the equation, and that's the end of that. So but I also found out that at one point that my flight bag, which is basically my bag that has my headset, another headset that my father used, a fuel tester, which is nothing more than just a long cylindrical thing to pour some fuel in it to make sure, see if there's water in there, or if, if the color isn't right, because the fuel, aviation fuel that I used had a blue color into it. It was something 100. It was 100 octane, and it also had some other supplies in there for private pilots, and I had some instrument stuff, or instrument reading stuff in there as well. And it had a couple more things, but at this point, it's not really important, because that flight bag went MIA. It's official. I found out recently, in the past about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, probably. This is the beginning of October as I'm filming this. So, within the past few weeks, I found basically came to the official conclusion that that bag is MIA, and I may never recover it. Should I end up recovering it? That's fantastic. However, that just gave me the motivation to kind of rebuild a couple of things, or kind of like, obtain new things, or replacements of a couple of those things that were in that bag. So I have this here. This is a little, carry bag that I got from Sporty's Pilot Shop, which is in Ohio. That is who I went through when I began my flight training. And if I open it up, well, I've got this. This is a flight log. My flight log, my original flight log, is in that flight bag, and it has all of my hours in there, and all of my achievements, and so that's like the singular most downer of, it's like, in the big picture, I've got my license, then everything that's in that logbook really doesn't have much of an effect on how I move forward with it, but it's kind of like a trophy of sorts. It's a great memento, great trophy, as it were. However, I wanted a new one, so I got a new one. And so I've got that. That's not the only thing that's in that bag. I've got two other things. One happens to be this. It's a headset. It's a full-blown headset. It's the same model as the one that I had originally. And here we go. And that's it. So, microphone, boom mic. I can put it out. I can bring it in. And of course, I really can't hear anything because these things are really, really good at muffling the sounds outside. I could hear my voice through my head nice and easy, but I couldn't hear anything outside of it. Now, two things that aren't right about this is that my original headset didn't have this pad. I mean, it had this pad, but it had an older version of it. But, you know, and this one is good and everything like that, but I'll get to that in a second. Secondly, the microphone on the boom, as you can see it right there. You know, it's really good and everything, but it's not the same mic as my original headset had. So, got the headset, but I wanted to have the right strap pad and the right microphone. So, I found them on eBay. So, I've got them right over there. And the idea is to take these pieces off and put those replacements on, and then I will have not so much recovered, but I've kind of like I've recreated my original headset. And that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to do that with this. And I have other plans. Another thing that was in my original flight bag that is gone was this little thing. This is an adapter. So generally, you know, it's like, you know, the plugs that are on this, they're pretty much the equivalent of 1/4-inch phono plugs. And let me see if I can get this out of the way so I can rest the headset down and then lift this up. You know, you can see them. You know, these are 1/4-inch phono plugs. You know, that you could, like, you know, use to plug in like gigantic speakers and stuff like that. But this one is for a headset. There's a stereo and then there's a mono. The stereo is for the actual earpieces of the headset, and then the mono is for the microphone, because in aviation communications, you don't need stereo when you're talking to people. So, and this is a very peculiar sound. You know, it's not this high fidelity, you know, gaming headset kind of sound or streaming microphone kind of sound. It's almost kind of like, you know, telephone, handheld radio, that kind of thing. So what you do is you basically plug these in like so, and then you can take the small ones. One is a 3.5mm stereo, and then there's a 0.25. It's a smaller than the 3.5. I don't want to say. I think it's a 2.5. If I remember correctly. That you would use this to actually plug into, let's say, a handheld radio, aviation radio, or similar. Well, my plan is to take this and plug it into the computer. That's the idea. But I don't have, my computer microphone jack isn't this 2.5mm plug, it's a 3.5. So I needed to buy an adapter. That is this guy right here. Got this off Amazon, and there we go. I just plug it on in, snap it, you know, snap it to Snap Connect, like that, and now I can plug that into the microphone port, and I can use the headset microphone with it. But the headset microphone is very interesting. Well, it's especially made for aviation use, because the plug is this two. If I can get that over here, you see it get those two little prongs? Yeah, that just plugs into the other piece on the actual headset. And there we go. So, I can't just plug it into any random port. So, there we go. So, I've got the adapter, I've got that. And the idea is to use this on my computer. I'm going to treat the STL guys to the pilot me I just need to get a background image for Jitsi. A background image of me in a cockpit, or of a cockpit, looking back from the dashboard or the window. You can take your pick. And then have me with my headset on and talking like that, and, getting the fidelity of that microphone. I'd be sounding like I'm in an aircraft. At least that's the goal. Once I get that microphone connected to this headset, I'm going to be doing some testing. I'll be hooking it up to the computer, and I'll go into like Audacity or something like that, or OBS for that matter, and I'll give it a whirl and see how it sounds. And you first see, does it pick it up? And I'll just have to look at the little meter bar. If the meter goes, then it's working. And then I'll do a recording, very brief, and then I'll play it back and see if it's actually giving me that fidelity that I'm looking for, or that I'm expecting, which then turns into hoping. So we're going to be doing that. So what I have to do is I have to do that work on the headset in order to achieve the first part of it. So let's go do that. Alright, I was going to use my phone for this part, but I decided against it. The light's doing pretty good, but it is coming up on 5 o'clock, and although the view outside is of a southwesterly direction, it's actually going to go dark pretty soon. So here's my new log. Let's bring that forward. There we go. And it's, from a pilot standpoint, it's nothing overly special. A date line here, from and to, for the date ranges that the log covers. You can put all your certifications down here, and all the dates of different things, such as medical certificates, flight reviews, and so on. FAA wings. Woo, I gotta make sure I get that. And then you get your actual log entries. So if I slide this over a little bit, yeah, it looks like a lot, doesn't it? But for any particular flight, not every single line, field gets filled in with data. You only fill in the data that is appropriate for the flight that you've taken, or that kind of thing. And then there's a thing in the back, memorandum or memoranda. Just some different notes, and yet these different things here, such as PIC in a tail wheel airplane. PIC means pilot in command, and we use acronyms. Now we won't use with the acronyms. We won't actually, like I say PIC. We don't actually say the aviation alphanumerics of Papa, India, Charlie. That would be that, but we say PIC because we understand it. It's only when you're in flight does that really matter, or when you're communicating with somebody, whether it be over the radio, the phone, things of that sort. So that's my log. So I'm gonna put that off to the side, and here we have my headset. So here's the headset that I recently purchased. This is a David Clark model H10-30, which is good for student pilots, and it's also good for pilots that have been flying for 10, 20, 30 plus years. So it's just a good overall general aviation headset. So I love it. It does a great job. And that was it's the same model as the one that I started off with, and that's the one I want to stay with, and so that's what we're doing here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to switch out this microphone. So generally how we do that is we unplug it from the cord that goes into the earpiece. So if I can get that, there we go. And then we have a screw here loose. Got my trusty screwdriver, so I'll put that in there, and there we go. And I'll hold the boom, give that a twist, and we'll get this taken off. There we go. Here's the boom. So this, I can just put it away, keep it for spare. Maybe I might want to build a custom headset, you know, for the computer. I might do that. I don't know. I'll figure it out. So I put that off to the side, and then inside this box is the same model as my original. So if we open it up and we take it out, here it is. Looks a lot to be the same as the one I originally had, but it is different. If we look at the actual bits here, we can see this is the new one, this is the old one. This is the one that is the same type as the original one that I had when I began flying. This is a David Clark M1. This, I don't know what this model number is, I don't care. So this is the one that doesn't matter. So I am going to put this one on the headset. So let's do that. And there we go. We've got it's all on. So there we are. So I can adjust this by loosening up this base nut, which is actually a screw. I can loosen the screw and I can slide this forward and backward as I see fit. So I'm not going to bother with it right now. So we got that. Alright, so now we have to worry about this head pad. So here we have a David Clark head pad assembly that I purchased that matches the one that I had originally, which is really just this. It looks like it's new old stock or NOS. You know, it's got 4 little pads right here, and there we go. And it's David Clark. And one of the neat things about David Clark is that not only is it a very good, high quality piece of equipment, it's that for me, being in New Hampshire, it's somewhat local. David Clark is based out of Worcester, Mass. You know, to everybody else, it looks like Worcester, but it's pronounced Worcester, and or in the Mass vernacular, Worcester. It's along the same lines as Concord. You know, it's, to a lot of people, it looks like Concorde. No, Concorde is a French passenger plane that does over Mach 1. So, faster than the speed of sound. That's Concorde. This is Concord. That's the pronunciation. So there you go. So, for folks down in Pennsylvania, sorry, Tom, it's, of course, there's Lancaster. Up here in New England, we don't say Lancaster, we say Lancaster. Lancaster is the proper pronunciation. Down there, the vernacular is Lancaster. You know, so, you know, people will say, oh, well, this is the way it is, this is the way it's always been, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Whatever. But, anyways, that's off topic. So here we've got this headpiece, this head pad. So I'm looking at it, and it looks like I've got a channel here for the cord to go from one ear to the other, and then of course there's a channel underneath this portion right here for the actual band. So the first thing we're going to do is take this off. That off, there's the pad. It's nice, it's squishy. I don't want it. So here we've got the actual base part of the pad. And looking at it, yep, we've got that. And we have a slight issue. There is no, well, actually, it looks like there is a somewhat easy way. Let me double check this side. Can I get that open? Yes, I can. How about the actual headband portion? It looks like the headband portion is going to have to be threaded out and then threaded back in. So I'm going to go take care of that, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I went and I got the pliers that I've had since, well, I haven't had it, but they've been in my life for my whole life. I've got them now. So, looking at this, all I really need to do is loosen up this nut here. It's a lock nut. Okay. And that's loose. And there we go. And then we can essentially just take this out of its channel. This is the wire that goes from the left earphone to the right earphone. I mean, these can be left or left right this way or left right that way, whatever the wearer wants to do. So then we slide this off of here carefully. This isn't coming off. It is stuck on there. So I am just going to get a utility knife, and I'm just going to cut this thing off of here. So I'll be back. All right, this thing did not want to cooperate, but went at it with this, and I win. Here it is. So I can throw that in the box. I don't need it. And I've got the replacement. So, yeah, this is very hard rubber. Nearly plastic. So, I am going to put this on, lined up in such a way so that, I'm going to be, the microphone is going to be on the left side of my face or head. So I want this to fit accordingly, which would be this way. So I will feed this in through this way, and it'll take me a minute to get into place. So bear with me. Okay, and there we go. This actually slid on fairly easily. What I noticed that was the difficulty of getting the original one off was that on this strap portion there's there's 4 little nubs that poke out to help hold it in place, but took care of that. This one slid on nice and easy, and the most time spent, which was probably 30 seconds longer than usual, was getting the wire or the cable from back into its little channel. I guess you could say I had to force feed it in there, which basically meant I just had to pry open the channel and just really shove it down inside there. But it's in, and it is secure, and there we go. And now I am going to go test this out on the computer, on Solaria. Well, actually, I'm going to do it on Odin initially, and we'll see how it sounds.
Okay, and here I am speaking on the M1 microphone right here, as you can hear it, and according to the mixer on OBS, it is only picking up one of the two channels, so I may be coming through on the right or the left, but it doesn't tell me which one is which. It's only showing me one channel out of the two, which is no big deal. I can certainly figure that out. I'm going to need to when I use this for Jitsi. Surprise the STL guys on Thursday night, and of course, because of Windows, and it's going to be the same on Linux Mint there on Solaria, that I do not get any loop back of the audio that I'm speaking back into the microphone. It's one of the important things about pilots is that we like to hear ourselves talk. So With these computers, it's not possible unless you have a loop back or an audio monitor effect kind of thing going on. So, but at the end of it all, looking at this, it's working and it's picking up my voice and it's being reflected back, and therefore it's working. So this is a good test, and when I play this back, I hope it comes out sounding really nice. Hello, you are. I'm back on here. I've done some testing. It sounds like this one is the better one to go with, even with the little hissiness with the S's. So sorry about that. Yeah, so that is the sound that is coming out of this microphone. So it is not ideal. It doesn't exactly work the way I want it to. So essentially not going to be using this headset for anything computer-wise. So there we go. Alright, so anyways, yeah, I'll just finish with the video with this. So we'll just go forward with that. I am going to be moving on. I've got other videos lined up just to make. So only going to be doing that going forward anyways. So come on back, and yep, I sound awesome because this that microphone is great, but for using on a computer, I can try to mimic it with settings, stuff like through my regular or my phone. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But anyhow, thank you for coming along, and I hope you at least enjoyed the video. So come on back for the next one. So thank you very much. Skál.